This is the story of a girl named Eliza. Eliza was a very special young lady, but did not speak very much. And when there was too much going on around her, she would get very nervous, and she would run back and forth, kind of in a line back and forth, and she was really very difficult to understand because she didn't really speak. And as she got to be a little bit older, 7 or 8 years old, when other kids were talking, she was still not speaking, and she needed a little special help in school, and every one of Eliza's relatives tried really hard to be as patient and kind as they possibly could be to Eliza. And Eliza would go to Tante Marion's house, and at Tante Marion's house, she would get into stuff. And then she would go to Zadie Avraham, who loved to read her stories. And Eliza loved to listen to the stories, but as soon as the story was done, Eliza would start pacing back and forth and make some noise, but never said anything at all. The one thing that she really loved to do was go to Bubby's house. Bubby means grandma. So she would go to Bubby's house, and she, especially around Yom Kippur, would help make the kreplach. You know from kreplach? Kreplach is like a ravioli, except better. The stuffing inside is like ravioli meat, except kosher, and depending on who makes it. And sorry, I actually made kreplach this year. And it was not a Chilul Hashem, which means that. Anyway, it wasn't ever clear when Eliza would go to Bubby's house if there was actually going to be kreplach made or just a mess made. But Bubby loved the time with Eliza, and Eliza loved the time with Bubby. But eventually, it would go back to being that she would pace back and forth and make some noise but never say anything. Well, somebody got it into their head that they should give Eliza some piano lessons. And Eliza would sit at the piano and just pound on the piano, but never make any noise. But eventually, they gave her a melodica. And they got the melodica to make this noise. Well, that's the song everybody learns when they get a recorder or a trumpet or a clarinet or a flute, any instrument. They learn to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and that's what she learned on the piano, but she never could do it because she sat by that big piano and just pounded. But the little melodica they heard. Now, Eliza's mom was a cantor. She was known as Chazan Shira. And that wasn't funny. Why is that funny? Chazan Shira loved music, and she loved to sing to Eliza. But when it got time for the High Holy Days, Chazan Shira had a job to do. She would sing Kol Nidre, Kol Nidre, and it would sound beautiful, much better than that. And Eliza just loved to hear her mother sing. But every once in a while, it would get loud when Chazan Shira would hit some of those high notes, and Eliza would cover her ears and then start pacing back and forth, and it would have to be that Chazan Shira would have to practice at the temple, not so much at home sometimes. So it came time for Kol Nidre services, and Eliza was all dressed up, ready to go, and Chazan Shira said, "Oh, no, Eliza, you don't have to come. You'll come tomorrow morning to the children's service, but tonight, we're going to say we're sorry to God, and I'm going to sing Kol Nidre, but you don't need to come to that. That's okay." Now, it just so happened that Chazan Shira and her family lived very near the temple, and so after they had left, the babysitter who was with Eliza couldn't understand what Eliza wanted, and grabbed Eliza and went over to the synagogue because Eliza would not be dealt with. And as they left the house, Eliza brought the melodica. And when it was time for Kol Nidre, first you heard Eliza take out the melodica and go, well, Chazan Shira was very upset. Walked over to Eliza and said, Eliza, what are you doing? This is our time to say we're sorry to God. You're not supposed to be here right now, and Twinkle, Twinkle is not saying we're sorry to God. Now cut it out. And the rabbi went and took Eliza by the hand, but Eliza would have none of it. And then Eliza went, everybody looked around, and Chazan Shira said, Eliza, was that Kol Nidre? And Eliza went, well, tears started in Chazan Shira's eyes. I didn't know you could do that, she said. This is our time to say we're sorry to God for all the things we did, for the times that we didn't follow what we thought we were supposed to do. And for the first time, Eliza said, sorry too. And then she put the melodica to her mouth, and as Chazan Shira said, not now, the rabbi said, when else? And then Chazan Shira started to sing the song that Eliza was playing, and together, this mom and daughter communicated with God in a way that had more heart in it than anything could have happened before. And they said they're sorry in style.